The push has really transformed the way I write and perform my music. The expression that we have available to us is very deep, and when I'm lost and looking for inspiration, I always find a little goes a long way. Today I want to show you macro variations, how to control them, how to set up different variations and randomize them, and how to save them into a sound so that we can come back to them in the future. Let's jump in. Macro variations allow us to save different snapshots of the device macro parameters and switch between them comfortably and easily without getting too lost in resetting all of our macros back to a certain point. We also can randomize our macros so that we can generate new sounds and save them into presets. So I want to show you how to do all of that right now. Okay, so in order to understand macro variations, you need to understand macros. When we group our devices into a group, we have the ability to then program macros into this window up above here that shows us, with these each 8 corresponding knobs, a different parameter of a device that we predetermine. So I want to show you how to do that quickly. Head to a device that doesn't have any macros mapped. You can see I've got a filter, I've got erosion, and I've got a convolution reverb, all on this wavetable synth, all right? Okay, say I want to control, certain parameters, but I don't want to continue to page between these pages to tweak them and play with them. I want like an overview of that. That's where macros come in handy, all right? If I hold shift and I hit filter, erosion, the reverb, I see group. I'm going to group them together, and now I have these 8 macros up above here that I can program different device parameters to, so I don't have to page through those windows. So let's say I want to program something on the auto filter. The wet is a pretty good place to start. You can see it shows up with the map as soon as I touch the knob. If I hit map and I program it to that one, you can see it's sitting there now. I hit done and it's programmed. Same thing with the reverb wetness. And let's just do the erosion amount. All right, cool. So when I go to the group, I can see the overview of all those macros there. So right, if I want to change certain things, pretty easy, pretty simple. So that's how you map macros, all right? Okay, so now we understand our macros. Now we want to look at macro variations. They live here with this little plus symbol in the corner here. So the first thing I think when I think of a variation is I think of creating a control, just so we have something like a reference to come back to, all right? This can be really helpful with drums because we want to change filters and manipulate parameters up until the beginning of the next bar and immediately drop the drums back to where they were. So let's look at that, creating a control. So if we go over here and we just move our large control knob over here, we can see we've got randomize and add variation. We're going to add variation, all right? You can rename it. I'm going to rename it control. So now we have exactly how we want it to sound when we're playing it, all right? So if I want to change stuff, pretty simple. When we want to go back to our control, we just click the button in. So it's pretty easy to set up. You can set up as many variations as you want, right? And the way that we overwrite those variations is we move to a variation that we want to change, all right? Let's say I want this to have a lot of delay and a lot of reverb and a little bit of saturate, okay? I go across to the side and I hit overwrite. All right. So now I can see that I've got my control and I've got the one with a bit of delay. This one will still be the control because we created it when we were on control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these parameters, add a bit of overdrive, really make it saturated, a little bit more delay and real reverb. And then I'm going to do override again. So now we've got our 3 separate variations, all right? So if I hit play, all right, pretty easy. It's pretty cool and a pretty easy way to switch between these different parameter settings instead of paging and trying to manipulate that as you're going. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to manipulate that. So it's a really cool way to sort of jump between different sounds and perform and record that into the arrangement. So we can also have macro variations applied to our instrument racks as well. So I want to show that too. If I go over to where I made my audio effects rack before and program macros before, all right, do the same thing. I hold shift, but I'm going to hit the instrument this time and I can see it come up with a group. So once I've grouped that, now I can add to these macros parameters from the instrument rack. Okay, so now I've mapped a few parameters to the instrument rack. I want to create a control again. So I do the same thing. I'll go over here, I'll rename it. And now we've got our sound the way that we had it before, all right? So nothing's changed. Now what I want to show you is a pretty awesome way to discover new sounds or create new presets out of the same patches. If you're lacking a little bit of inspiration in what to change or just looking to randomize things and discover what parameters do what, this can be really helpful for that. With our macro variations, we also have this randomise macros function, all right? So what I think is really cool about this is we can program some interesting parameters in the instrument rack or the audio effects rack and just randomize them in order to just get a new sound completely. So here's what the sound sounds like. All right. If you don't like it, you can always go back to the control, right where we left off, all right? Change a few things. All right. Now I'm just going to add that variation into each one, all right? So now we have our 2 separate sounds we can go between, all right? So if we hit our control, we go back to where we were. you can kind of see the usefulness there. So if I want to go ahead and just save that sound, I'm going to hold save and I'm going to hit wavetable, all right? And then you can just see it added a copy, all right? So if I head over here, you can see I've added that copy among many other copies, and I can just change my track to that or go back, add it into a new rack, doesn't really matter. So it's a pretty cool way to sort of create new sounds out of the same patch, and a really interesting way to discover stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If these videos helped you out, please consider subscribing to my channel, or just leave a comment below if you want to share some thoughts. Until next time, have a good one.